We're live here in Székesfehérvár, the historic city of kings, and today a new monarch of modern pentathlon will be crowned. The stage is set for a truly regal performance as the finest young female pentathletes on the planet prepare for their ultimate test. It won't just be their rivals they'll be battling. Once again, the majestic Hungarian summer sun is likely to play its part. It's going to be another exceptionally hot day, demanding every ounce of stamina, every drop of courage, and every wise decision from the athletes seeking coronation. Well, we are preparing for the 5 disciplines into one sport. We start with the fencing direct elimination rounds, 5 rounds of DE, first to 5 hits, or the most touches in a minute. We then move on to the 8 obstacle course, where the athletes will be racing against the clock in pairs. Move on from the obstacles to the swim. 200-meter freestyle, and again, it's up against the clock. Time is the key factor there before we move on to the double header, the laser run, where the athletes will run around the track, completing 3,000 meters, punctuated by 4 visits to the range. A 10-meter laser range where the athletes need to hit the target 5 times before they can move on, and that's really where we're going to focus on the action for the front of the pack. The equation is pretty simple. Cross the line first at the end of the laser run, and you will be world champion. Well, the Hungarians have something to cheer here. We're about 100 kilometers away from Budapest. With a couple of athletes in the lineup. This dramatic final act, the ultimate prize awaits, a glittering gold medal and the prestigious title of Junior World Champion. And here is the lineup of Vivian Mayer starting at top of the fencing after winning the most fights in the seeding round, which happened a couple of days back. 18 in the lineup. Chloe Johnson of Great Britain will be keeping the Brits interested, and the Egyptians are the ones we have to look out for. Blanca Bauer down in 17th will be looking to improve in the fence. Valentina Martinesco, the Italian, sitting at number 13. She had a cracking swim in the semi-finals. So let's meet the athletes one by one. 23 victories in the seeding round puts her number 1 seed. 17-year-old has been on fire here. First of 3 Egyptians, Malak Ismail, got 22 victories in the fencing ranking round. She's an Olympian who took bronze at the recent Zajic World Cup in May. Deval also with 22 victories. She had a great fence that could set things up nicely for a challenge here today. Neutral athlete, Tamina Tagirova, 35th in 2024, but again, a great start in the fence. Sets her up nicely for a podium challenge. Biggest cheer so far for Emma Mezaros. The Hungarian got 21 victories in the seeding round. Bronze at the Junior Europeans recently. Watch out for her on the obstacles. Serena Yurt from Switzerland, one of 2 twins competing at their 2nd consecutive World Championships, 4th at the recent juniors. Now El Masri from Germany is an exceptional obstacle course racer, just 17 years old. British athlete comes here with great confidence after finishing 6th at the Junior European Championships. 20 victories in the seeding round for Chloe. Lavačková from Czechia got 20 victories in the seeding round. She's looking to recapture the form she showed last year. Kabovnik from Poland, who's 12th in 2024. She's got a strong laser run, so she'll be wanting to stay in the pack at the front. Farida Khalil, current superstar of the sport, just 14 years old, has got 2 golds and a silver on the senior circuit this year. Bronze medalist in 2024. Her 17-year-old teammate, Gana El-Gindi, looking to climb the ranks and deliver a good laser run at the end.
Representing Italy, Valentina Martinescu.
Middle name is Dolphin Martinescu. I'm joking. 16 victories in the ranking round, but she was tremendous in the pool in the semi-finals. The second of the twins blowing as a kiss. 16 victories for the Swiss athlete in the fencing ranking round. And she is the junior European champion. Second of the Hungarians, Herback, another 17-year-old. She needs to start well to be in for a challenge of the podium.
Representing France,
Watch out for Flavan. She could climb the ranks. She's been on good form recently. Bronze at the Budapest World Cup, silver at the Junior Europeans. The third of the Hungarians, Blanka Bauer. She'll be looking to perform well here, and she does do so on home soil. 5th at the recent World Cup in Budapest in April. Skudnyakova completes the lineup, the neutral athlete. Just got 9 victories in the ranking round, but she was the silver medalist last year, so she'll be looking to climb the ranks. The tension is building, the atmosphere is electric, and history is about to be written. Let's get ready for the women's final. I'm Karen Bashir, and joining me is Youth Olympic Games finalist and African Championship silver medalist Elida van der Merwe. We're right into it, Elida.
Yeah, no, we're set for another action-packed day here at the Junior World Championships. Not only will these women be fighting for medal position, but they'll also be fighting for a team medal. Currently in contention is the team of Hungary, Egypt and Switzerland.
We'll keep everyone posted on that as we look at the direct elimination draw. Just 2 fights in the incomplete round of 32 to progress to fill the table of 16. Simple knockout format, 1 minute fencing, first to 5 hits, or the leading fencer after a minute will go through. If they're all tied on score, we need to focus on the ranking because the higher seeded fencer will progress. 2-pieced here, our feature piece, piece A, shows us Flavin of France and Bauer of Hungary. And off we go. I'll be focused on the feature piece, and Lida, you're going to pick up the action on piece B in the picture-in-picture at the top right of your screen.
4 point goes to Blanka Bauer there on the left-hand side, 1-0. Sorry, Skudnyakova against Herback, 1-0. And it's Skudnyakova goes for the flesh again, making the score 2-0.
Steady start here on piece A. Bauer just having a little nosy. The fence is possibly where the Hungarians will be looking to improve their positions. Bauer a little bit lower than she would have expected to be after the seeding round. But it's Colleen Flavin of France who's got away to a 2-hit lead with just 20 seconds left to go. Pressure now on Bauer to try and close this gap up. She gets 1 back. Still bags of time, going for the closing octave attack. And she sweeps down and picks up her opponent's blade in what's known as the low line.
Skudnyakova dominating her match, 4-0 with only 20 seconds left on the clock. Skudnyakova goes for the flesh, doesn't quite get it. Only 20 seconds left.
Well, here Blanka Bauer has levelled up. She's had that last hit on because she'd gone past her opponent before she landed the remise of the attack. But she has got a nice high line closeout and then hit Blanca Bauer in a pole position for a win here. And tries to block out time and does just about do that. And Blanca Bauer has achieved what she was looking to do, and that was make the round of 16 here in the fencing direct elimination. And we take a look back here at that circular ceased block, and then the riposte, blocking out high, guard to guard, and then closing the distance to prevent Flavin from scoring. Bauer through to the 16.
And just the action there on piece B. Skunyakova, who started off in 18th seed position, will be looking to climb her way up. She'll be up next against Malik Ismail of Egypt.
Here on piece A, first sight of the top seed from the fencing ranking round. Vivian Mayer goes up against Bauer.
Skunyakova and Malik Ismail. Clock is ticking. Ismail applying pressure.
Blanca Bauer getting off the mark here. She looks pumped up. I know that there's a lot of support for Vivian Mayer. No less than her mother, Florence Dinichert, competed at the Sydney Olympic Games, watching from home. Hello, Flo. And a double there. Mayer trying to find a way through on the attack, but Blanca Bauer playing the percentages. If you hit your opponent within 200ths of a second of them hitting you, you'll get both lights up on the box and both fencers score a hit.
Ismail evening out the score on piece B, 1-1 with only 25 seconds left on the clock. Skunyakova, the lowest seeded fencer, will need to make an attack here, but it's Ismail with the experience, the Olympian experience, that will be putting up here, but it's Skunyakova gets the point, 2-1, 15 seconds left.
Well, another double as Mayer tries to find a way through on piece A. Bauer holding that 1 point lead. Now, will that hit stand? Mayer is hoping so. Bauer is not. And Bauer is the one that's disappointed. Quicker on the remise for the Swiss fencer. And now the pressure is really on Blanca Bauer. The clock ran out there, but actually the referee had stopped the fight without a hit being scored. The little remote control button to stop the clock didn't work, so we'll have a bit of time added back on. And Bauer needs it because Mayer is the higher seed, and if the score remains the same, it's Mayer who will progress.
Tension is building on piece B. Score is 2-all. The clock is only with 5 seconds left. Skunyakova looking to climb her way up the rank. She needs this victory against Ismail, but so does she. Scores 2-2, 5 seconds left on the clock. And it's for Skunyakova, victorious with 4 seconds left. Ismail will need to respond.
It's all action here on piece A and B, as Bauer does get the hit she needed. She got yellow carded for barging just ahead of scoring that hit, and now there is very little time left on the clock here for Mayer to save her bacon.
Tension is just building up on piece B. We've now got a 4-all score, 2 seconds left on the clock. Ismail with the priority. Skunyakova starting in 18th position will be looking to get this victory. Ismail just needs to step back, but it's a double point. Only 1 second left.
Well, clock's out here on piece A, and Blanca Bauer has done it. She has taken out the top seed, and Bauer, who was looking for a good fence, has made it through to the quarterfinals.
And it clocks out on piece B. We'll have to say goodbye to Skunyakova and welcome Ismail to top 8 of the fencing bracket.
Well, here we take a look back at Bauer finishing the job off. She's taken out 2 higher seeds on the route to the quarterfinals. And Hungary still have something to cheer for in the fence. Now we move on to Klavachkova and Johnson. Czechia versus Great Britain on Piste A. Klavacheva on the left-hand side. Johnson, though, with the higher seed of 8. This is 8 versus 9 after the ranking round.
Piste B, we have Korbovnik and Al-Masri of Germany.
Well, nice attempt there for Johnson with the octave parry, a low line parry to her right, and then coming back over the top, but Klavacheva with a little bit of extra reach was able to double out, and this time Klavacheva was able to control the distance there. Johnson perhaps attacking from a little bit too far away, and now the pressure's on the higher-seeded Johnson to get level. Oh, does it straight away. Contrasting styles between these two. If you look at the feet, the back foot of Johnson pointing a little bit more forwards than the more classic Klavacheva. Feet at right angles.
Action on Piste B. Korbovnik with a 3-0 lead against Al-Masri. Al-Masri needs to respond now with only 29 seconds left on the clock as she applies pressure and goes for that attack. Victorious she is, making it 2-1.
Beautiful hit to the foot here on Piste A. Klavacheva with the lead, and now Johnson with the pressure again, but the athlete from Czechia doesn't waste any time, and another mini upset in terms of ranking as Klavacheva goes through for Czechia. This hit to foot, absolutely stunning. Faking over the top, and then going direct to the outside of the foot. Johnson just couldn't get it out of the way quick enough.
3-1 for Korbovnik on Piste B, and Korbovnik gets that 4th point. There's only 16 seconds left on this bout. Al-Masri will looking for the attack. There is still time for her, but it's Korbovnik who will continue to the next fencing round up against Malik Ismail of Egypt.
Well, here we have Messeros, the Hungarian, on the right-hand side against Elgindi. Two athletes competing not only individually here, but their results will count towards how their teams do.
Elgindi really pleased with that point. Attack on preparation.
Elgindi getting the double here, and we are going to have 2 Egyptian athletes on at the same time here, so coaches will be working hard in the Egyptian camp. But Elgindi doing a solid job at the moment. She's the lowest seed, just 12th after the fencing ranking round, but she has powered her way here to a 4-1 lead. And Messeros, who will be looking for points in the fence, looks like she won't make it any further than the 16. The double is enough for Elgindi to upset the seedings again. And this is a bit of a carve-up here in the fencing direct elimination. Elgindi of Egypt through to the quarterfinals.
In Piste B, Khalil starts the bout off, winning the point against the Yurt twin, but with 40 seconds left on the clock, Yurt will be responding, looking for that attack, but it's Farida who's setting the pace here, setting the distance up really nicely.
Elgindi through, and Farida Khalil, who we think is carrying a little bit of an injury. What's she looking like at the moment? Does she look like she's in good fencing form?
She's looking really dominating at the moment, as she has a 2-0 lead against Yurt of Switzerland. Farida just looking for that disengage attack. She's setting it up.
Meanwhile, we started the fight between the brilliant swimmer Martinescu against Tagirova, the neutral athlete. Tagirova, 4th seed, would win if the scores are tied at the end of the minute. So Martinescu's taking her time here, but at some point she's going to have to press the go faster button. And Amina Tagirova was ready for it.
Farida was a point there for Yurt on a Farida's attack. 13 seconds left on the clock. 3-1 for Farida. Yurt will be responding as she is so.
Well, the two pommelers, you get a look at that French grip there. The close up, they're both holding these straight grips, which gives them a little bit of extra reach. And well, Tagirova got the first hit on a counter attack. Martinescu said, anything you can do, I can do better, and then has just landed an attack to go 2-1 up inside 10 seconds remaining. Tagirova has to go for this now. She's got to change tactics completely, and she's running out of time. A double is not going to do her any good, and now she's got no choice but to sprint out of the blocks. Martinescu will just go backwards, and that is enough to secure the victory. They've still got well, not even a second left on the clock, not even half a second. They will fence it out, but Martinescu's just going to go backwards and clock this out. Martinescu, another of the athletes to upset the seedings.
So just to recap on Piece B, Khalil has beaten Florina Yurt, who will move on to table of 8. And we'll wait for the match of Derval and Katarina Yurt of Switzerland.
The Italian pleased with her result here against the much higher ranked Tagirova. Well, we've still got one more round of 16 match to go on the second piece, on piece B, behind where we're looking now. That's why they're holding up this table of 8 match between Bauer and Ravachkova. And it is underway. This is a quarter-final matchup. Micah Bauer has taken out 2 higher seeds on her way to the top 8. And she's got the challenge now of the number 9 seed from Czechia.
Katarina Yurt, the most recent junior European champion, and Derval, who picked up the team medal at the European Championships. So both with medal experience, but it's Derval of France who picks up that first point on Piece B.
You've got some catching up to do, Alida.
Well, I assure you there's some great action happening on Piece B.
Oh, Bauer, nice idea there, blocking out, but then couldn't land the hit on the inside of the wrist. And Ravachkova, the first single point of the match, placing the semi-finals up for grabs.
It was 1-2 on Piece B with 19 seconds left, but as Yurt, who went for the attack, didn't quite get it. No point. Ref will have to call the start pot. Derval, the highest seeded fencer in this bout, whereas Yurt will have to respond. Applying the pressure, she tries to go for the foot, doesn't quite get it. It's a point for Yurt. Katarina Yurt evens the score with only 9 seconds left on the clock.
Well, we had a brilliant piece of action here on the feature piece. Blanca Bauer teased her opponent with a foot, putting it out wide and showing it to Ravachkova. Ravachkova fell into the trap. Blanca Bauer launched a flesh into the high line to level the score. She's got to go after this, though. She's the lower seed. Clock runs out, and Bauer had a great fence, but Ravachkova has ended her chances in the rest of this fence.
Katarina Yurt just scored the last point within the last few seconds, and she's victorious. You could see she's very, very satisfied with that result.
Well, we can throw the rankings out the door here. I mean, it's absolutely phenomenal. The only seed that has progressed so far from the 16 is El Guindi, if I'm not mistaken, and Ismail, the 2 Egyptians holding their seeding. We go down to the other half of the draw for the next fight on our feature piste. Ismail Rabovnik, Egypt versus Poland.
Ismail second in the seeding round with the priority. Karbovnik is an OCR specialist. We'll yet to see her action here, but she needs to set it up in the fencing. Ismail responds to Karbovnik's parry. Ismail just taking a deep breath in. Adrenaline goes through you in this fencing round. And it's a whole switch of tactics here from Karbovnik, who looks for that cease and lunge onto her opponent.
Yeah, it's stifling hot in the fencing tent. She's just behind the obstacle course. And I just had a little wander in there about an hour ago. It's got hotter since then, but it was without wearing a mask. And look, the kit now is very lightweight and breathable, but you're still fully covered in this heat. Oh, no breeze at all inside that tent. So no wonder Ismail taking the opportunity to gulp in as much air as possible. Oh.
Excellent timing from Ismail with the attack on preparation. Only 22 seconds left. Karbovnik needs to respond. Karbovnik applies the pressure, but it's Ismail who's keeping the distance. Really great there. Karbovnik went for the lunge, but it's Ismail who responds with a flesh on preparation. Just waiting for Karbovnik's step forward to time that attack. Beautifully done from Ismail.
Yeah, 2 in a row like that.
Oh.
Touch of points. If the tips touch, you will get a light coming up, so that one's annulled.
Excellent work there from Ismail. We'll move on to the semi-finals.
Yeah, little double for those in the know, going around the blade twice. I think we'll get a look at it here. That's actually the fourth hit, attack on preparation. The last hit, a little bit of a blade avoidance, and then up over the top onto the arm. Ismail through to join Lavachkova in the fencing direct elimination semi-finals. 2 more quarterfinals to come.
Another interesting bout up next. Katarina Yurt of Switzerland, who picked up European gold. And Farida Khalil, one of the most decorated athletes in modern pentathlon at the moment.
Yeah, 2 golds and a silver on the senior circuit this season, or this year even.
The European champion against the...
Getting first good look at Farida Khalil on the feature piste. On the right-hand side, she's came into the competition, let's say red hot favourite, but certainly a favourite for the podium. So they're just struggling a little bit, or at least seemingly struggling a little bit with some form of leg injury, but she's bouncing around nicely here.
Yeah, just patiently waiting for Yurt. But I can assure you Khalil will come up with a surprise attack too. But she's towards the back of the piece there. Should be careful getting off. But it's Farida Khalil successful with that lunge attack. She's quite iconic with those preparation and lunge attacks. They just really gets the right footwork and timing. You can see Khalil tries to go for the 8-6 lunge attack, doesn't quite get it. Yurt really responding well with her footwork, keeping the distance, applies pressure, tries to go for the foot, doesn't quite get it, but it's Khalil. She points to her coach, she knows she needs it.
That's very similar to the way her teammates scored a couple of points in the last fight on this piste, luring opponent into distance and then launching the attack. Yurt berating herself. Coming straight back on the attack.
11 seconds, 8 seconds left in the clock. Yurt just waiting for that time to flash. She needs to get the right time and And it's victorious for Yurt. She will be pleased with that.
2-2, and Yurt is the highest seed. No, 14-11. Khalil is the highest seed. Khalil, though, making sure this is done on the scoreboard rather than by ranking.
Right, so Khalil is in a very comfortable position. All she could do is just go towards the back of the piece, but it's Yurt who'll be looking for the flesh attack on the right timing. And it's timed out. Victorious is Khalil of Egypt.
Setting up an all-Egyptian semi-final. He's a happy dad. Khalil and Ismail in the bottom half of the draw will face each other for a place in the fencing D final. Lucky glove signifying her ambitions to make it to the next Olympic Games in Los Angeles. Now Egypt have a chance of making it 3 out of 4 into the semi-finals of defence here. Because up next we'll have El Guindi up against Martinescu. El Guindi will be on the right-hand side, Martinescu of Italy on the left.
Martinescu with the French grip here, looking for that extra reach she can gain. El Guindi just really great footwork, light on her feet, waiting for the opponent's attack as Martinescu will make use of that direct actions with her French grip. Clock is ticking, no points quite yet. Martinescu just setting up her attack, maybe waiting for the right timing, waiting for El Guindi step forward, but it's El Guindi who's just waiting patiently in a place there towards the back of the piece. Keep in mind, but it's Martinescu who ducks for El Guindi's flesh.
Very clever hit, that one. Faking the attack and then luring out the counter, ducking out of the way, and El Guindi's, where's she gone? Well, she's below your sword, I'm afraid.
So now we see the change up of the attacking and defending as El Guindi applied pressure but didn't quite get that single point she needed. Scores 2-1, Martinescu in favor of doubles. El Guindi gets her iconic flesh in with one single point.
Needs another, though.
She does indeed.
No, I keep getting my rankings around the wrong way. El Guindi's 12. So El Guindi, if the score stays the same, will progress. So now the pressure switches back to Martinescu.
Yeah, so we'll be seeing a lot of the switching between defending and attacking, given the priority of the highest seeded fencer. And given that, we'll also see a shift between who pushes who to the left or the right-hand side of the piece, and it really switches things up. Keep in mind, athletes have a certain line where they can't go over the piece, as it will be scored to their opponent. But Martinescu goes down, or she go up. But it's Martinescu who just gets it underneath in the low line, as she has done so.
Beautiful closing block out there. El Guindi must score now. Just 1 point will be enough for the Egyptian. Referee having just to quieten down the crowd, the Egyptians in the crowd, but Martinescu has countered her way into a commanding position here.
I'll tell you, there's not much El Guindi can do now with the time given, but it clocks out. And we say goodbye to El Guindi. Still a good run from the young Egyptian.
This bodes well, though, for Martinescu. We know that her swim is absolutely incredible. And so getting through to the top 4 of the fence is good work from her.
Next up on the beast, Lalachkova from Czechia. Against Martinescu from Italy.
Rita just getting ready for the next bout, and she is on fire today. Had a great start from the top.
So Martinescu stays on the beast after the victory.
Yeah, this
And now she can fight.
fence has seen a real carve-up of the higher-ranked athletes. So we have got Lavachkova the number 9 seed after the ranking round up against the number 13 seed in Martinescu.
So Martinescu again with the French grip, Levachkova with the pistol grip, looking for those precise actions and more controlled actions there. Levachkova with a great footwork, just keeping the distance. Be careful for those actions from Martinescu, very unpredictable. And it's Martinescu who just gets it on Levachkova's foot there.
1-0 for the Italian. 30 seconds left.
Martinescu really making use of a whole range of different fencing actions. And it's Levachkova says, I'll get your foot too.
She's shown it before. The athlete from Czechia starts a little dabble down to the toes.
Point there for Levachkova, sort of gets it in caught, has the right hand placement, but it was no point, overruled.
There's the closing action.
Yeah, Levachkova just get that straight hand on the right timing before Martinescu could take her blade. Point there for Levachkova. 9 seconds left. Still like that can happen if Martinescu can respond. Doubles not in favor of Martinescu.
Well, Levachkova is not taking any risks here. She wants to close this one out. Like you say, still plenty of time here for Martinescu.
We're looking for that timing, but it's... Oh, Martinescu just went for the foot there. But it's Levachkova who responded speedily. Electric reactions.
Really great stuff from the athlete from Czechia. She is motoring through the fence here. Blocks out the... well, the pair of them hitting to the foot. That final action, though, from the Italian down to the low line was just a little half-hearted. She didn't get her arm fully extended. Levachkova capitalised with a counter over the top.
I must say, a foot touch is really high risk but high reward, and it was just not the right timing there, but great work there from Levachkova. We have an all-Egyptian bout here.
Yeah, Khalil against Ismail. Ismail, the number 2 seed. So I wonder what Farida Khalil's going to make of the start of this match. Is she going to go over after it straight away and build a couple of points lead?
These two young Egyptians are equally as recognized in the sport. Ismail, the Paris Olympian, and Khalil, widely decorated athlete. But it's Ismail who goes for the flesh attack. We know Khalil to set up a good attack too, so she'll be looking for the right timing against Ismail. But nevertheless, Ismail will respond and be ready for Khalil's attack too. There'll be a switch of attacking now. Ismail just keeping the distance, going for those fake attacks to lure her opponent in. And it's Ismail who gets the point on Farida's attack. Farida just checking her blade there just to check if her point is working.
Yeah, if no light had come up then, the hit would have been annulled. But I think it was hopeful rather than judgment. Ismail's really compact, but like you sort of indicating, very busy, keeps her opponent thinking the whole time. But when she's sitting in a defensive posture, she's got her elbow back, and just the wrist just moves forward just a little bit every now and again, just to play with her opponent's mind.
You see that fake attack there from Ismail, just setting it up. Not necessarily, but it's a double point as Ismail just steps backwards on Khalil's attack. Opens the distance up nicely.
Yeah, the attack too far away for Khalil. And that's the problem she's going to face with someone who's prepared to press with the lead.
Ishmael tried to go for the same approach there, just step backwards on Khalil's attack, but it's Khalil who got their second intention, the second action after her first attack. Scores 2-3, 14 seconds left. Still a lot can happen.
Yeah, there's still time in this. Still plenty. Interesting to see Ishmael. A lot of the fences we've seen, when they get the lead, just sit back a little bit, but not the case for Malak Ishmael. She's prepared to press and keep her opponent away, and keep her opponent thinking.
Great work there from Ishmael. She knew her opponent was going to attack. All she had to do was step back, caught, and riposte. It's moments like these when you're towards the back of the piece, you don't have so much space to do that step backwards, so you either have to go for that attack or just either duck. But it's Ishmael, tries to go for the lunge, doesn't quite get it. Khalil just gets it in the last point with the remise. 3-4, 2 seconds left. Khalil running for the point, doesn't quite get it. It's a double point, victorious for Ishmael.
Solid fencing from Malak Ishmael as well. Teammates hug to finish things off, but Ishmael looking very strong indeed, and she is looking the real deal here today.
You just see there, Ishmael just takes the cart and riposte. Really had to clock that timing, and that step backwards is the biggest thing in that action. But great stuff there from Ishmael and Khalil. Two teammates fighting for a team medal as well.
Of course, yeah, good result for the Egyptians so far. One more to go though in the fence, and it's Lucy Lavachkova on the left going up against Malak Ishmael on the right. Czechia versus Egypt for top spot in the fence.
Well, it's the two Olympians who just competed at Paris Olympics against each other. So it's Lavachkova who gets that first point, as Ishmael tried to go for attack, but Lavachkova just gracefully stepped backwards and repassed, but it's Ishmael who have to apply the pressure. She does so, goes to the finish, but it's Lavachkova again. Remise attack. Ishmael will really have to just settle down and find the right rhythm, right distance again. Lavachkova just waiting for her attack now, and it's Lavachkova who just does so gracefully.
Dominating this with the distance here, Lavachkova.
Ishmael will really have to change things up. Going for 3 attacks now, and Lavachkova just getting it on her defense.
Just using that reach advantage as well. Minute fencing doesn't really give the shorter fencer huge amounts of time to think about things, but they're using that second intention you were talking about.
Yeah, great stuff there from Ishmael. Really responsive. Small actions that she's making use of. And it's Ishmael goes for, it looks as if it was outside the piece. We'll have to get confirmation.
Yeah, there were 2 actions at the start. I think it was the third one that went off the piste and onto the carpet. The piste itself is earth, so no light would come up.
Double point there, 19 seconds left. Does Ishmael have what it takes to catch up in these last few seconds? Small, concise actions from Ishmael, trying to set up her attack, needs to find the right space, and it's Ishmael who gets it on top of Lavachkova's hand there, just on the arm of Lavachkova.
Yeah, the accuracy to land that hit whilst at full tilt from the Egyptian, something to behold.
10 seconds.
Ishmael setting up her attack again, trying to make a mix of their moves, but it's Lavachkova who gets it on Ishmael's attack.
Great stuff from Lucy Lavachkova of Czechia. She has risen through the ranks in the fence. She started down in 8th place, no, more than that, 9th place, and she has climbed through. This is how she finished the job off, just again holding the distance and forcing Ishmael to attack from too far away, and at that point she can control everything.
Yeah, look at the control there. She just really gets the blade of Ishmael. Also just a step back taking the blade and riposte. But great stuff from Lavachkova. Lavachkova also really in a dangerous position for medal contention.
Yeah, and that fence, with all those seeds dropping out early doors, here's the confirmation of how Lavachkova did it through Johnson, Bauer, Martinescu, and then through Malak Ismail, who'd fenced so well up until that point. Lavachkova is going to rise through the rankings going into the next round, and here we have it. 8 places gained by Lavachkova and Khalil, but look at Martinescu. She's come up 9 places, Kabovnik 5 and Elgendi 6. It's a phenomenal turnaround in the fence. And we now see the middle of the pack, 9 places risen by Bauer, so she'll be pleased with things. The Hungarians were very much targeting the fence to get themselves into contention. 7 places risen for Katarina Yurt. And look down at Mezaros, she's lost out in the fence. And the bottom of the pack, Skudnyakova climbing 2, but look at the drops from Yurt, El Masri and Johnson. Well, the fence is now complete. We will move on to the obstacles, but before we do, let's take a look back at the fencing DE. Well, what a turnaround in the fence here. We're watching the Pentathlon Junior World Championships. The piste has been a place of change arounds, and now we move on to the 8 obstacles over 70 meters. Pairs will go out in 9 heats. But the athletes are up against the clock in the women's final at these World Championships. And let's take a look at what the athletes will have to contend with.
Right, so we have a great point of view of Gergo Broekman, the voice of the competition, as he goes through the tilted ladders, over, under, and through. Then we're off to the 5th obstacle, the ascension bars, as they are going higher and higher upwards. And then we go to the giant steps, straight off into the swinging globes. As you can see, he skips that one, makes use of a swing back, all about momentum. And we finish off with the tall finish wall, and then to clock off with a finish buzzer.
Now, it's stiflingly hot inside the tent just behind where the fencing just happened, but they're out in the sunshine here. There's a tiny bit of cloud cover. As we look at the start list, Heat 1 with Flavin and Herbeck going out, and we will then follow through another 8 heats to complete this. But it's a bit hot out there, so some of the apparatus is actually hot to touch. And also, I think a number of the athletes are a little bit concerned about their sweaty hands, especially on the obstacles where you have to reach up. Are we going to see a little bit of strategy playing out here?
I mean, it all comes down to grip strength and grip endurance. So athletes have been preparing for this obstacle, and given that they're all in the same boat, but I'm sure enough they will cope really well with that.
Well, Colleen Flavin on the right-hand side in white goes up against Emma Herbeck, who gets a big cheer from the crowd here. Off we go then, heat number 1.
We have the big wheels straight off into the tilted ladders. Flavin making that two-way movement, just trying to get the momentum. Swings herself, pops over the over-under and through, makes her way to the ascension bar, skips that first one, builds up momentum and finishes off smoothly. Gets that landing and straight through the big steps. She skips that first swinging globe. Look how she twists her body to get that extra reach, lands as she finishes. It would just be over 35 seconds for today. And Herbach, who has a penalty on the swinging globe, she'll return back again. She'll need to get a great leap to build that momentum, swing herself forward and backwards as she's building up really well. Great comeback from Herbach. Finishing strong, she'll dig deep and clock around 58 seconds.
Yeah, so that's why the athletes, some of the athletes may be taking this a little bit more cautiously than Herbach did. Herbach at the back of the field looking to gain points, had to take a little bit of a risk there, but the result was a penalty.
Just look how Flavin aces that tilted ladder, as well as the swinging globes, really making use of that twisting of her torso to get that extra reach. And I'll tell you, that finish wall is where athletes dig deep. Arms are sore, arms are burning and tired, but here we have the next two.
Up they come, Skudniakova against Johnson, and the Brit closest to us, Skudniakova, the neutral athlete on the far side of the course.
Johnson just losing momentum there. Skudniakova keeps up with her. They go through the over, under and through. Johnson goes for the second bar. She looks for that 1-1 movement, lands, and she's got to get to the swinging globes. Doesn't quite. She builds up the momentum, but look again, she's twisting her torso to get that extra reach. Johnson is finishing strong. It'll be just under 40 seconds for Johnson, and Skudniakova with a 40-second time. Shakes her head. She thinks she's done enough. Kisses are given. Really sweet and great sportsmanship there from the two of them.
And that's the thing, isn't it? That just taking it a little bit easy. And Johnson saw in warm-up really having a go at these ascension bars, and I'm not going to say she was struggling, but she was working out which route she was going to take, and clearly she got the right one. Thumbs up from Johnson of Great Britain. Next up, El Masri and Yurt, Florina Yurt, Swiss athlete closest to us.
El Masri and Yurt, they tackle their way through the tilted ladders. What an effort from El Masri. She shows great effort there through the over, under and through. She makes her way to the ascension bars. No time to waste. She pops right through, sticks that landing. Great work from El Masri. She'll skip that first globe. Doesn't make quite use of that twisting of her torso, but she's got the technique to the point. Will it be under 30 seconds? It's 30 seconds for El Masri.
Brilliant stuff from the German, as she did in the semi-finals in the obstacles.
Yurt just finishing strong there. Just under 40 seconds for Yurt. Great effort from Yurt there.
There's a little bit of upset there. You saw before when she was warming up, Yurt was really fired up to go for these obstacles, but she just struggled on the tilting ladders early doors and did well to recover.
I tell you, emotions are going through you in this competition, but I'm sure enough she'll pick it up and remove it and go to the next. But here we have the next two athletes.
Emma Masaros from Hungary on the far side, up against Amina Tagirova.
Meseros from the home nation. Sure enough, she's just flying through the tilted ladders there, as well as Tagirova, who makes a great leap for the second one, but it's Meseros in the lead, pops under, over, and through. She's onto the ascension bar, skips that first one, keeps the momentum, finishing up strong, sticks that landing. Onto the giant steps. She's gone for the first swinging globe, needs to make use of that twisting movement as she does so, getting that extra reach and swing. It's a finish wall just for Meseros. She clocks around 38 seconds. 37 seconds for Meseros. Tagirova digging deep for that finish buzzer.
Struggling up the wall at the end, and I'm not surprised after the elevated obstacles they have to tackle in the last three. Getting out that wall is a real struggle, but what a run from Meszaros, getting a huge cheer from the home crowd.
I tell you, it's tough conditions for these athletes on the finals day. Not only did they have qualifications, semi-finals, it's their third day doing a competition of full pentathlon format.
Yeah, and crazy stuff. So on to Blanca Bauer and Katarina Yurt. Katarina Yurt closest to us.
Onto the big wheels, right into the torture ladders. Maya just swings to the second one. Will she swing again? And she does so. Pops over, goes straight under and through. She's onto the ascension bars. Doesn't quite skip it, but she's just keeping up the momentum. Setting the pace, great rhythm, nails that landing. She's onto the big steps. Swinging globes we go, and it's not quite the second one, but she's got a compact frame and using it to her advantage. Going left and right a bit, but she nails it, makes a great recovery, digging deep. It'll be just under 40 seconds, and it's a 38 seconds finish for Meyer. Derval just on the swinging globes there. She needs to control her swinging movement, not quite the left and right that she wants there, but it's all right because she's recovered. Finish wall for Derval for 55-second finish. We will not be seeing PBs today, I tell you that, but athletes will really just be fighting to make it through safely instead of getting elimination.
Yeah, that's the thing, just playing the percentages a little bit. We are seeing a lot of emotion here today because the athletes know where they want to be after each of the disciplines, and if they don't quite make it, the emotions flow over. Up now, the other Yurt twin, Katarina Yurt, closest to us, up against Blanca Bauer from the home nation.
Yurt just building up the momentum as well as Bauer. She goes to the third tilted ladders, swings and gets it, pops over, slides under, and just goes right through. Onto the ascension bars, Yurt skips that first one, keeps the momentum and goes left, right, and gets it. She's through to the big steps. Onto the swinging globe, she gets that first one with a compact frame again, making use of that swinging and twisting of her torso to get that extra reach. Nails it. Finish wall it is for Yurt. 37 seconds for Katarina Yurt. And Blanca Bauer just goes left and right. Not sure, but she has to get that finish buzzer.
Well, both of them going significantly quicker than they did do in the semi-finals, and that will help them rise through the ranks. Caution mixed with a little bit of assertion. Yeah, absolutely nailing these ascension bars.
The thing is with the ascension bars, I think it's that first leap that you do, and you'll see if they get to that second bar, they really have the momentum from the start, and it's just being able to carry it through. But next up,
Elgindi from Egypt up against Karbovnik from Poland.
Watch Karbovnik as she tries to go for ladder 1, 2, and 3. Excellent work from Karbovnik. Pops under, slides under, and goes right through. Onto the ascension bars as she builds that momentum, keeps it up, building herself up, lands it. She's onto the big steps. Swinging globes, doesn't quite skip the next one. She's going for a higher reach here, a really compact framework she's got, trying to minimize the swing. And it's Elgindi who's getting the reach, catching up to Karbovnik, and it's Karbovnik for the finish wall.
A couple of seconds quicker than her semi-final, 5 seconds quicker for Elgindi. And these athletes now benefiting from a little bit of a breeze here across this open athletics field.
Interesting approach there from Karbovnik on the swinging globes. Didn't quite make use of that swing back and forth, but instead optimizing her upper body strength to minimize that swing and just using that explosive power. Great stuff from Elgindi and Karbovnik.
Yeah, really good. Both improving on their times from the semi-finals. And now we move on to heat number 8 of 9. Valentina Martinescu in the white and blue on the right, up against Farida Khalil of Egypt, closest to us.
So straight from the tilted ladders 1, 2, and 3. She's onto the over, under, and 3. No time to waste for Khalil. She goes for the second ascension bars. builds that momentum left and right, sticks that landing. Swinging globes for Khalil. She skips that second, makes use of that twisting of her body. Nails that landing. Finish for Khalil. What incredible stuff. 30 seconds.
Oh, wow. Amazing stuff. It's not bad from Valentina Martinescu either. Or Valeria, I should say. Martinescu, she's got a good time herself. But Farida Khalil, she's been kidding us, I think, a little bit around the stadium, hobbling around a bit, giving her opponents a bit of false hope, because she absolutely nailed that. Skipped the last 3 globes.
Just look at that. She didn't go for that last globe there. Instead, took the risk with a high reward.
Incredible. Are we looking at the beginning of the crowning of a new queen of pentathlon in Hungary? Last heat, Malek Ismail on the far side against Lucy Lavachkova in red, closest to us.
Onto the tilted ladders. Lavachkova just building that momentum, swinging through. Ismail not far behind her. Over, under, and through. They onto the ascension bars. Skips that first one. Ismail catching up. Left and right for Ismail, and she sticks that landing. No time to waste for these two Olympians as they onto the swinging globes, making use of that twisting of their torso, getting that extra reach. Lands, and it's finish wall for Ismail. Will it be under 40 seconds?
Oh, she missed the buzzer. Twice she missed the buzzer. Just under 40 seconds in the end for Ismail. Lavachkova just catching up with her a little bit, but that was a real tussle between those two. I know it's not a race between them. It's a race against the clock, but a really good, entertaining obstacle course. It's absolutely fabulous.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the biggest fear in the obstacles, is missing the buzzer. I mean, doing all that effort just to have a slight miss of it, but it's still great stuff here from these two athletes. And given that they both competed at the Olympics, had to adapt from moving from horse riding to the obstacles, and they've just done it. They've showing great versatility of an athlete, and just really impressive from these two.
Taking a bit of time, both of them, in the swinging globes. So there's the miss, the first one. There's the second one, and in the end, having to reach up with the right hand. One miss, 2 misses. Oh no! I mean, she's lost the second there, hasn't she? But what a way to finish the obstacle course. Brilliant discipline, and the camaraderie that we've seen throughout the competition between the athletes at the end. Thumbs up from Ismail, and a blown kiss from Lavachkova. And here's how things stand after 2 disciplines. And look who is at the top of the rankings. The 14-year-old has climbed another 3 places over the obstacles. Farida Khalil at the top. Lavachkova has done enough to stay in second. And it's Ismail following up behind. El Masri was electric in the semi-finals, and she's climbed 9 places here in the final to make it into the top 4. They're still climbing all over the place. Chloe Johnson with 4 places risen through in number 12. But the Yurt twins sitting in the middle pack as well from Switzerland. Vivian Mayer has dropped away after the fence, but managed to gain 1 spot in the obstacle course. At the back end of the field, Blanca Bauer, who had a great fence, has dropped 6 places after the obstacles. Flavine has climbed up again, but she dropped away from her places, and now Herbeck down at the bottom is struggling. But that obstacle course, absolutely fantastic. The athletes will now make their way over to the swim. But the obstacles were so good. Let's take a look back at what happened. Well, the obstacle is done, fence is done. Time for a quick dip in the pool. We move from this 70-metre 8 obstacle course, which proved very entertaining, and we come into the 200-metre freestyle swim. Another race against the clock, like the obstacle course. The athletes will be in 3 groups, 3 heats, based on where they sit in the table. The pool itself is a couple of kilometres away from where we are right now, and the athletes have a little journey that they make across. And here we go from the obstacle course. It's a little walk across the multi-sports park that we're in into an air-conditioned vehicle, and then the drivers will carefully whiz them, not quite at this speed, over to the swimming pool. And I'll be taking a little bit of an extra break here before arriving at the pool. And that's what they have to face. This 50-metre pool here, just under a couple of kilometres away from here. It takes the athletes a little bit of time to get over there. So we've got the countdown clock in the bottom of the screen. And, well, there's been a huge carve-up through both the fence and the obstacle courses, with positions changing all over the place. Vivian Mayer started the day as top seed, and we had a little chat with her.
I'm Vivian Mayer and I'm from Switzerland. The transition between the obstacle and the swimming is very short, and we just warm up the arms again, but they're already warm from the OCR, and we can't swim. So in the general warm-up we have time to swim, but not many people are going to swimming because of the hands. They get wet, and for the obstacle it's not good. And so we just try to have the best feeling of the water without swimming and just warm up the arms. So obstacle, it's more technical, but swimming, yeah, you use quite the same muscles, I think. Modern pentathlon is very entertaining because there are 5 disciplines and the decision is only in laser run, so you don't know who's going to win until the very end. So, yeah.
Well, she talks about a quick transition over there, but it's a little bit longer for the athletes. And under the baking sun here, that will provide them with blessed relief.
Yeah, I think definitely with the aircon in the shuttles that they'll be getting. But Maya really touched on a few interesting points there. She talked about the general warm-up that these pentathletes will have. So before the start of the competition, they get a hour general warm-up where they do get a chance to get a feel of the water, but ideally you want to just sort of do a dry land warm-up and get a feel of all the sort of elements in the modern pentathlon. So whether it be a few shoots in at the shooting range or even just going for a jog to get the whole blood flow in the system, and even a few resistance training with the resistant bands just to get the muscle activation throughout the whole body.
Yeah, and it's interesting that they talk about they're not allowed to have a swim, but like you say, interesting that they say they're already warmed up in the arms. A bit of pacing going on here, and more strategy. I mean, with the way that these placings have changed from the start through both of the disciplines we've had so far, are we going to see more strategy at this point? And, you know, are they thinking about conserving a little bit of energy as well for the laser run?
Yes, definitely. And I think it's a whole new ball game as compared to the semi-finals where we were looking for that top 9 position. But now it's all about medal contention. And I think athletes will either be going all out in the swim, depending on their running ability for the start of the laser run, given that we have Farida Khalil, Lavachkova, Ishmael at the top 3 so far, but not too far behind them with 10 points is Al Masri of Germany and Martinescu.
Well, El Masri has had a bit of a run here, hasn't she? She started in 7th position. She dropped to 14th after the fence, but another spectacular obstacle course race has pushed her back up to 4th position, and we have had a chance to speak to her as well.
Hi, I'm Amaya, a modern pentathlete from Germany.
My transition between OCR and swimming, so I tried to plan it before with my trainers so that they get every stuff I don't need anymore, so I don't have to worry about them. And then after OCR, my arms are very tense, so I tried to shake them out. And then mentally I tried to cut it and don't think about OCR anymore, so if it worked or if it doesn't work, and just focus about how I will swim the 200 meters. Sure, we don't train the transition between the disciplines at home because a lot of times we have school between our training sessions, so we can't do a lot of training sessions behind each other. Sometimes in holidays, there we train it a bit. For example, between swimming and then we just go directly running. But we have time to change, so it's not like in competition that we have to change really fast. Sometimes I do things like visualizations, and so I think I should do it more, but I forgot it sometimes. But yeah, we should do something like this. So actually I should, yeah.
Well, she's had an interesting start, hasn't she? Because she started 17th. She started 7th, dropped down to 14th after the fence, and then has climbed up to 4th after the obstacles. I mean, it's a real chop around here for the athletes.
Yeah, I mean, as we know, modern pentathlon, it's only done until you cross the finish line in the laser run. So anything can happen here, a shuffle of standings in the pentathlon competition. But also, once again, really important points Al Masri has pointed out there in this transition from obstacles to swimming, whether it be visualization, being present in the moment for the next discipline at hand. Given that if athletes had a poor result or wasn't so satisfied with what happened early on in the day, there's no point in plotting on about that and just moving on forward. And that's really the beauty of modern pentathlon, is just tackling each challenge as it comes.
Are we starting to look at where we're going to see the athletes that are going to press in the pool? I mean, we're clearly going to be looking down in the bottom half of the draw, but the likes of Messeros, for example, is she going to try and put in a little bit more effort to climb the rankings to give herself a chance, especially on home soil?
Yeah, I mean, we know Messeros to have a strong laser run, so given that she might have to put in a bit of a swim to try and be a bit further up in the laser run standings if she still wants to be in medal contention, where she's currently standing in 10th position. And I think with the likes of Martinescu of Italy, we know her to have one of the strongest swim times. She might not be so confident in her laser run, so we'll definitely make use of her swimming time here.
Yeah, and we are going to have 3 heats, and this is based on where they sit at the moment. We'll have Bauer, Flavin, Skudjakova, Tagirova, Derval and Herbach. They're coming out to swim already, and I'll tell you what, the organisers do a great job getting them across and have done throughout the qualification semi-finals. But today, that's got to be the fastest they've got the first heat out. That's incredible, isn't it?
Efficiency here in Sekesverherva.
Well done. You're saying it once a session. I think that's really good of you. I think maybe for the final session, I'll let you do the intro. Well, here we go. Heat number 1 in the pool, a race against the clock. We have Blanka Bauer from Hungary looking to perform well in front of the home crowd. She's closest to us. Colleen Flavin in 2. Elizaveta Skudjakova in 3. Amina Tagirova in 4. Second French athlete in 5, Matilda Derval, and the second Hungarian, Emma Herbach. Off we go. Heat number 1, 200-metre freestyle, a race against the clock.
It's all about the dive, the underwater, as well as the strokes here in the 200 meters. First 50 is about setting the pace, as you can see. So with Skudjakova in your screen there, neutral athlete. Skudjakova one of the athletes who has a strong laser run, as well as Blanca Bauer, who will be looking to put in a good swim as they turn for their first 50 of this 200 meters. Blanca Bauer to the bottom of your screen, trying to keep up with Skudnyakova in the middle lane. Great turnover rate there from Skudnyakova, making use of breathing left and right, not necessary just to the one side, trying to get as much oxygen in for this first 100 meters. But Blanca Bauer falls behind, neck and neck with Matilda Derval. It's Skudnyakova and Tagarova setting the pace as they make way for their third 50. This is where things get tough. This third 50 is all about just keeping the pace up, not falling too far behind as they make their way for that last 50 where you sort of give everything in for this 200 meters. But it's Skudnyakova and Tagarova who is now taking the lead as they make their way for this last 50. Turning in sync. What a turn from Skudnyakova, really making use of that explosive movement. As you can see, she's using her kicks, setting the engine on. But it's Tagarova and Skudnyakova looking left and right to each other, trying to keep up with each other, trying to get a similar pace. But it looks like Skudnyakova just headed away of Tagarova, but they were turning on the same time there on around 2:17 for Skudnyakova and Tagarova, not far behind Blanca Bauer on 2:22.
2:17 then, the fastest time set in this first heat. We have seen faster times in the pool so far this week, and I wonder if there's a little bit of fatigue after having 2 rounds before this starting to kick in, or are they just pacing themselves to stay in with a lot of energy really for the laser run? We're not going to know, it's all guesswork at the moment, but taking a look back at the first heat.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing making it into the final and having to compete for the 3rd time in a row. Keep in mind they're repeating everything all over again, so you can just imagine how tired they are, and this is where endurance kicks in with pentathletes. Just look how Tagarova and Skudnyakova finish in sync there with their 200 meters. Teamwork does make the dream work.
Well, the first heat of 3 complete here in the pool, and we have 6 more athletes waiting to come out. I wonder if we're going to see slightly quicker times from this middle group. Out they come then. In lane 1 will be Poland's Margazota Karbovnik, and 2 Egyptian Gana Elgendi. Switzerland represented by Vivian Mayer. In lane 3, Hungarians will be supporting Emma Meseros in lane 4. Florina Yurt will be in 5 for Switzerland, and Great Britain's Chloe Johnson will be in lane 6, furthest away from us. And this is the middle grouping. And Johnson, the Brit, has plummeted down the ranking. She did recover a little bit in the obstacle course. Emma Meseros in lane 4. We need to keep an eye on her to see if she's going to put in a big swim. Heat number 2 in the 200-meter swim here at the Pentathlon Junior World Championships. Women's final session.
Great stuff there from Karbovnik at the bottom of your screen there, making use of that underwater work just to kick off a few seconds in this 200 meters. Karbovnik of Poland setting pace. Look at that rhythm she's setting. Just getting a great reach in the water and catch and follow through from Karbovnik. Textbook swim technique here. She turns on her first 50 meters. making use of only looking to the right-hand side. This really allows her just to keep the rhythm, keep the pace, as she does so on her first 100 meters. It's almost like a beat that she's setting there for herself. As we know, 200 meters are all about setting pace and keeping that pace up, but not too far out in the field. Looks like Yurt and Meseros pacing each other. Karbovnik turns for her third 50. And it's Meseros and Yurt neck and neck, looking left and right to each other, trying to drag each other through to finish this 200 meters. And it's Karbovnik who's setting the engine here with her speedy kicks.
Interesting to see Karbovnik. She's climbed through the rankings from a 10th place start to 7th after the obstacles, and she's really setting the pace here in the pool. Clearly she feels that she needs to put in a good swim to give herself a chance in the laser run.
Turning for that last 50 meter, this is where she needs to dig deep. We'll maybe see her put her head down for those last 15 meters of this 50, but Karbovnik is picking up pace. Karbovnik really wants this 200 meter. And it's still Yurt and Meseros keeping up with each other, but it's Karbovnik who finishes on 2:17. Great stuff from Karbovnik, just under the 2:20-second mark. And it's Yurt and Meseros just turning in sync on a 2:26.
Well, the rest of the field come through to complete it. 2:17.74, third fastest time so far in the pool. And Karbovnik clearly keen to make sure that she stays in that front group and not too far off Farida Khalil, who currently leads the pentathlon points. Karbovnik had her mind set right at the beginning.
Look at that underwater from Karbovnik, but she sets the pace almost like a metronome, just telling herself 1, 2, 1, 2 throughout the whole 200. And it's really interesting, sometimes athletes may do a stroke count per 50 meters, so they know exactly how many strokes they need to do for every 50 to clock in on a certain time per 50 split.
You've eradicated my need for the next question, which was, can you literally get in the pool on time to be at 2:17 seconds? And you answered that for me. Well, let's see how the final group decide to tackle this 200-meter freestyle swim. Coming out first, Katerina Yurt from Switzerland, followed by Valentina Martinesco of Italy, Germany's Amaya El Masri, the master of the obstacle course, going in lane 4. Ismail Malik Ismail of Egypt going in 3. And then looking at the top end of the pile with Lucy Lavachkova of Czechia and Farida Khalil of Egypt going in lanes 2 and 1 respectively. I wonder if they leave a little bit in reserve here in the pool. They've got quick times, particularly Farida Khalil. She swam a 2:18.73 in qualification. But of course, qualification was all about making it through into the semi-finals. Don't necessarily need to kill yourself in the pool. Save yourself for that laser run. Heat number 3 in the Pentathlon Junior World Championship Women's Final here in Hungary is underway. And the athletes are looking for a time around about 2:20.
We have Martinescu of Italy setting the pace. She is an excellent swimmer, swimming specialist. She will be looking to try and get as much points ahead, but it's Farida Khalil with the same mindset. She's currently with about 20 seconds head start, so she will be looking to also put in a good swim to get a head start in the laser run. Farida Khalil towards the bottom of your screen and Martinescu towards the top. They will be looking left and right to each other, pacing each other. Farida might be trying to clock in the same time as Martinescu. but it's Martinescu still creating that lead as they narrow down for their first 100 meters of this 200 meter.
Well, Martinescu set the pace in the semi-finals, and she's setting the pace here in the finals. But it's an interesting point you make, Alida. Farida Khalil just pacing herself on Martinescu, knowing that if she's just within a few meters of her at the end, she's going to have a reasonable time.
Not far behind Farida, we have Malik Ismail is also trying to keep up with Khalil, but it's Martinescu turning for her last 50 as well as Khalil. She'll make use of that underwater work as she's setting the engine on for that last 50. Will she try catch up with Martinescu, and will Khalil finish strong? The Egyptian beside her as well, Malik Ismail, who will try to catch up with Khalil, but it's Martinescu who's just spreading that gap there, that head start that she's got.
Where is the German in lane 4? She needs to catch up, otherwise she's going to drop off as Martinescu finishes, followed by Khalil and Ismail.
Khalil puts her hand in the air, very satisfied with that result.
El Masri just bringing up the rear in lane 4. It'll be interesting to see what happens to her. She's currently sitting 4th coming into the pool, and I think she may well drop down a little bit. The third of the heats now complete, and Martinescu yet again showing us how it's done in the pool here in Hungary at the World Championship final. Well, there's been a shake-up of the standings through each of the disciplines. The top of the order may just settle down a little bit, but I think we're going to see some chopping and changing down the pack as we look back at heat number 3.
Just look at that underwater there from those athletes. Martinescu, who led this heat all the way through, swimming specialist she is, but Farida wasn't too far behind her, neither was Malik Ismail of Egypt, making waves here. Khalil just a body's length away from Malik Ismail, and then you have an exchange of words there of Yurt and Martinescu.
Well, we're waiting on confirmation of the results, but that is the situation complete for the 18 athletes. And the pool will be vacated, at least temporarily, because, of course, later on today, we also have the men's final here. But we are heading back to the main arena for the completion of the women's final, and that is the laser run to come. But before we get to that, let's take a look back at the swim. So the women's swim is complete. We move from the pool back to the track. And it's time for the laser run with a handicap start based on the modern pentathlon points gained through the first 3 disciplines. I'll do 5 laps of a 600-metre track, punctuated by 4 visits to this 10-metre laser range, where we're going to see the overtakes and the action happen. You need to hit the target 5 times before you move on, and after your 4th visit to the range, it's a race to the line for the World Championship title here in Székesfehérvár. First across the line will be crowned champion of the world in the junior category in this women's final. And we had a chance to have a look around the track. And here we've got a point of view of the athletes' approach to this course.
Yeah, so lucky enough, we had Poppy Clark of Great Britain, giving us this point of view for the laser run. As you'll see, she gets those 5 green lights that athletes need before getting out of the shooting range. You'll see this laser run course has a mix of a tartan track and a grass track. So you'll see some of the athletes will opt to use spikes, but nevertheless it's athlete to athlete, and you'll see a few turns in this laser run course. Not too many sharp turns we have, which usually slows down the running time, but here we can also see the bracket where athletes have sort of a sprayer to cool themselves off. And this is the final long curve before the finish straight. The finish straight sort of comprises of this long curve, and it will be a bit tricky for the athletes on the inside to get passed over with the transitions, but here's the finish end line for this laser run.
And that's what they're all heading for, that finish line. And that final bend could well be where we see an awful lot of action. And if we look on the straights, and the grass to the track changing could be quite interesting. And we've had another chance to chat with one of the athletes, and it's a chance to hear from the Polish athlete Małgorzata Karbownik.
Hi, my name is Małgorzata Karbownik. I'm from Poland. In the new modern pentathlon, we have a little bit time before swimming and laser run. And in the qualification, it's more time, but in the semi-final and the finals, we have 10 minutes maximum. Well, for me, I don't have rituals or something like this. I think only about this. I have to very fast change my clothes, wear my shoes, and that is only my head. And when I start in the line, I think in this time about the laser run. That's the automatic, and I have funny situation with my shooting because I don't know how, but I shoot very fast, and I don't know how I do this. I think that's a little bit talent. Well, I don't stress about my shooting because I know I can do this very good, and I do this in the start. I know my body, and I know how do everything. I train a few years, and I know how to do in all discipline, all moment in the start, in the moment in competition. Well, I do like robot.
Well, interesting stuff there from Małgorzata Karbownik. She started in 10th, moved up to 5th after the fence, dropped down to 7th after the obstacles, and she finished 4th in the pool with 2:17.74, so she may well be in contention. We're looking here at one of the Egyptians, and understand that there may have been a little bit of a discussion, let's say, between the Egyptian coaching crew and the officials at the swim. We're waiting for any confirmation of what may well have happened, but enough that it has caused a little bit of consternation, and we'll wait to see whether anything comes of it. But in the pool, Martinescu again was the fastest swimmer from Skudniakova, and then Tagirova. Karbovnik, who we just saw in the interview, finishing 4th. Ismail and Khalil from Egypt, 5th and 6th. Bauer of Hungary will be keeping the home crowd interested. She'll move up with a 7th in this swim. We've had another chance to talk to Vivian Mayer, who started the competition in 1st place.
I'm Vivian Mayer, I'm from Switzerland. The transition between swimming and laser run is very stressful and we don't have much time. So I'm just doing some shots with my pistol and some sprints and just reactivate my body and not warm up. We warmed up before, so just some reactivation. I do a mental preparation before the laser run start, just quickly close my eyes and do some shots in the air. But yeah. At home, we try to do a transition between swimming and laser run every week so that we practice the stress and everything, and also the mental preparations that we get used to it. It's a laser pistol and she works with loading, so you have to load after every shot. My specific adjustments are here, so we can adjust it here. And it's personally from every athlete, and I aim a bit below the black circle. And yeah, but it's different of every athlete.
Interesting to hear about the approach the athletes take. There's a little bit of a breeze here as well as we take a look at Vivian Mayer. Will the breeze play its part, especially in the range?
Oh, definitely. And I mean, it's rather a light breeze too, but I think athletes will know how to manage this challenge of a bit of maybe a shake in the arm and a bit of instability in the arm before the shooting. But nevertheless, there are sort of weights that athletes can put into their pistol to manage this. And that just goes to say there's a lot of technicalities with the pistols that athletes are shooting with. As Vivian Mayer touched on, the different sightings that pistols may have, and it is really a personal thing, these pistols. But here we have her back in your screen there. We're starting after the 130 gap.
Yeah, so if you fall below 130 behind the leader, you all go off in a pack, don't you?
Yeah. So athletes will just be doing 1 or 2 shoots in the shooting range. You don't want to do too much here. Don't want to have a bad shoot before the start of your laser run.
Well, Farida Khalil has been penalised after the swim, and I think we have got a replay of her, I believe, leaving lanes. So she's in lane 1, and there's still swimmers coming in here. She's got to stay inside her lane, and she thinks it's all over as number 2 comes in, but El Masri hadn't finished, so she has received a 10-point penalty for changing lanes, albeit at the end of the race. And Farida Khalil, well, she has had a penalty, and that's why we were given heads up that there was a little bit of a protest. Now, she's just 14 years old. This is the junior, the under-21 World Championship final. How much of an effect will that have on Farida Khalil?
I mean, given that she's shown great maturity competing at all these World Cups where she picked up 2 golds and a silver, so I think she can manage it mentally. She's really strong and she's really showcased great mentality throughout Pentathlon. So I don't think it'll be rattling her too much.
Well, she'll be hoping not, of course, but it is a distraction, to say the least. Well, I suppose with the coaches jumping in and having their say, it kind of keeps her a little bit shielded from the conversation. So
I think she could even use it as a form of motivation, sort of, well, you knocked me down with 10 points, I'll show you I could catch it up again.
Well, according to our paperwork, she's on 859 modern pentathlon points after the swim. I don't know if that's including the 10-point drop or not, but behind her is her teammate Malik Ismail with 846 points. So it's either going to be a 13-second head start for Farida Khalil or a 3-second head start. We don't know how quickly our paperwork was updated. Kabovnik has had a cracking competition, a cracking final. She started in 10th before the fence. A fabulous swim has seen her move up to 4th, and she'll be starting 26 seconds behind the leader. We go through the handicaps, and there's a big jump down to Skudnyakova starting 7th, and Tagirova 8th, Bauer 9th, and Meseros 10th, all going off around about the same time, 55 to 58 seconds behind Farida Khalil. Malik Ismail with the Olympic experience at Paris 2024, just going through her final preparations, will start 2nd behind her teammate Masri, and Yurt a little bit further down, 11th and 12th in the starting lineup. They will start a minute and 5 seconds behind the leader. And there is the leader. How much can you come back in the laser run? I mean, can we look all the way down through the field, or are we going to cut things off at a certain handicap?
Well, that's just the beauty of the laser run. It's anything can happen, and I'll tell you what, I will put my odds on Blanca Bauer or even Meseros, and they are both strong laser run athletes. They are about 58 seconds away from the middle contention, but we know anything can happen with the shooting series.
Yeah,
so,
and Bauer and Meseros are going to have much of this crowd here behind them.
Yeah, we see the Hungarian flags handed out to some of the supporters here. So there will be a bit of a cheer on for these two Hungarians. And keep in mind, there's also a contention for team medals. So that means 3 of the athletes per 3 nations. And it's just Egypt, Switzerland and Hungary that are in contention for these medals. So far, Egypt ahead, then Switzerland and Hungary. So the motivation is there.
Well, and so is the start list. Farida Khalil does start 13 seconds ahead of Malak Ismail, her teammate up front. Would have been 23 seconds had it not been for the error in the pool. Martinescu is not too far behind. Another great swim from her, and a good fence as well. I mean, she'll start 14 seconds behind. Kabovnik, Hlavackova and Katarina Yurt will fancy their chances. It's going to be interesting to see how they do in the range. Look out for Skudnyakova as well. She can do something in the range, and she's not bad around the track as well. I mean, Tagirova starting just 3 seconds behind her in a group with Bauer, Meseros, and then El Masri a minute behind. I think it could be a bit of a challenge for those positions. And as we go a little bit further down, can anyone do any damage from that far back? I think if they're going to do anything, it will have to come in the range. Vivian Meyer dropping from first after the fencing ranking round all the way down into the bottom pack.
So athletes will just be looking at the starting list to see their starting time for the staggered start. For some of these, it may be their last Junior World Championships, so even if they are lower down in the standings, they'll be looking to give it their all as their last Junior World Champs. It is the finals. They've already achieved as much as they could have, and will be walking away pleased with that. But Meseros, the Hungarian, up for its host nation.
The world title for the junior women is about to be decided here in Székesfehérvár. It's time for the laser run at the World Championships. Farida Khalil gets the laser run underway. The world title up for grabs. She'll have a 13-second head start over teammate Malak Ismail. Malak Ismail waiting for that clock, and she is underway. And she'll be followed immediately by Martinescu. Italian up and running. Out of the blocks next, Margazota Karbovnik is up and running, and she'll be followed by Lucy Lavachkova out of the blocks. 10 seconds behind her, Katarina Yurt comes out. Lavachkova up and running. And the two Egyptians have already come together up the front. I say that to the two Egyptians, it's actually Malik Ismail and Martinescu running together as they started. But off we go with the rest of the field, and that is second and third place, Ismail and Martinescu, who are hunting down Farida Khalil. Khalil leading the way on the back straight, has around about a 60-meter lead at the moment. She started 13 seconds ahead. She'll be looking to pace herself nicely through this first leg, as the last of the starters are still waiting to go. And now we have all 18 athletes on track, and the last of the starters in 17th and 18th are starting nearly 3/4 of a lap behind. Farida Khalil being hunted down by Ismail and Martinescu.
Lavachkova also got her eyes on Karbovnik. Lavachkova and Karbovnik will be looking for that bronze medal contention, but it's Ismail and Martinescu comfortably in second and third place. It is the first lap of 5, and they'll be making their way for their first shooting series. This is where it comes down, the nerves of the shake of the hand telling it's the start of the shooting range.
Khalil into her position in the 10-meter range. She needs 5 green lights to progress. Can she get out before her closest opponents get into the range? It doesn't look like it. She's struggling with just 2 green lights now as Malak Ismail comes in. She can close the gap here, Ismail. Martinescu not too far behind, enters the range as well. Finally, Khalil gets out, and 2 to go still for Ismail in the range. And she gets her 5th, and she's out. Martinescu also struggling a little bit. The nerves clearly playing their part. And Martinescu really struggling, really in trouble here. She could get overtaken, and she has been overtaken. And finally, Martinescu gets the 5th, but Karbovnik used the range to overtake, and she now moves up into 3rd position. But that group of 3 athletes now challenging for the podium.
Martinescu sticking behind Karbovnik. The fight for bronze is still on. Martinescu will be trying to pace herself with Karbovnik, but Karbovnik is responding, and as well as Lavachkova is catching up to Karbovnik and Martinescu.
Martinescu overtaking into 3rd place. This is the battle for 3rd, 4th and 5th. Up front, I can tell you that Khalil, here she is being hunted down by her teammate Ismail. Ismail has closed up the gap by a good 10 meters, and she will threaten, I think, Khalil. This at the moment is an all-Egyptian race at the front, because the battle behind them is a pretty tough one between 3 athletes, and in some respects that will slow them down and give a little bit of encouragement to the 2 Egyptians up front. This is that battle for 3rd. Italian Martinescu leading, and it looks like Karbovnik has been overtaken by Hlavatseva. And this is a thrilling race for the bronze medal, and the Czechia athlete has gone up into 3rd. It's a good 2nd lap from Lavachkova, who's moved into the bronze medal position, and Farida Khalil is about to come into the range for her 2nd shoot. She leads this, and here she is entering the range. She struggled with her 1st shoot. How's she going to do with her 2nd?
Malik Ismail not too far behind her for her 2nd shooting series, but it's Farida Khalil with the 3 green lights. She's sitting on that 3rd one, makes it for the 4th one. and she's off and going.
What a shoot there from Khalil. Ismail Malik now under a little bit of pressure. She closed the gap up. She's staying calm. She hits 4. She hits 4. She put the gun down thinking she'd got her 5th, but she hadn't. Now she has. She gets out of the range as Levachkova enters it. Levachkova in 3rd place at the moment, and Martinescu takes a big, deep breath from 4th position to start her shoot. They're joined by Karbovnik and all 3 in a line. And at the moment, it looks like
Karbovnik with her excellent shooting series there, 5 out of 5. She'll try to keep up with Levachkova, but it's Levachkova who's setting the engine now. She'll be having her eyes on Malik Ismail, but with that said, Malik Ismail is trying to catch up to Farida Khalil, but it's not enough. The gap is wide, and the fight for bronze is here. Karbovnik will look for Levachkova.
It's falling apart for Martinescu in the range. She has been dropped by Levachkova and Karbovnik, and it looks like she's being caught as well by the Hungarian, and the Hungarian Bauer looks like she's going to overtake Martinescu in the middle of the pack, but out front, Farida Khalil has reopened her lead. She's put the afterburners down, and Malik Ismail coming down the back straight, desperately trying to close the gap up.
Not too far behind the pack, we have Blanca Bauer, who started up in 9th position, building her way up to 5th position and looking to catch up with Karbovnik. Will she be in bronze medal contention?
I think she might well be. We wondered how she was going to climb up through the rankings on home soil, but she's putting herself in contention here, and another good shoot from her will see her challenge as Farida Khalil comes around the last bend into the range. Visit number 3 for the Egyptian leader. She has been looking like a champion in waiting this season, with 2 gold medals and a silver on the Senior World Cup circuit. She takes a breath. We've got the accuracy target. She's hit 1, she's missed 1, 2 out of 3. Top right of your screen shows you where she's hitting. 4, 5, she needs it, and out she goes as Malik Ismail comes into the range. She's in silver medal position at the moment. She needs a good shoot here. She needs a good shoot because Levachkova is coming around after her.
And it looks like Blanca Bauer overtook Karbovnik in 4th place right now. She needs a great shoot, and it's a 3rd shooting series, but as Levachkova is into the shooting range, Ismail struggling on that 3rd light. Will Levachkova catch up with these shooting series as Blanca Bauer makes her way to the shooting range?
Oh, Ismail Malik finally gets her 5th. She's been dropped by a teammate, but Levachkova is now hot on her heels in 3rd place. Could Levachkova challenge for silver here? Levachkova with brilliant shooting. She's had a great final as well. Farida Khalil clear out front now. She's got a 60-70 metre lead over her teammate. This is her teammate here, Malik Ismail, and look how close Levachkova is to Ismail.
This is lap number 4. Still anything can happen, but it looks like Levachkova is closing up on the gap on Malik Ismail.
Well, Bauer has come out of the range, and Karbovnik got ahead of her again in the range, but look at the speed there, and Flavin of France moves up into 6th, but Ismail really desperately hanging on here. Ismail, it could be challenged here. Levachkova is trying to get her on the track here. Her shoot has been so good. This is the race for 2nd and 3rd, and Malik Ismail really pushing herself hard here in those conditions. It's a much more free-flowing running style from Levachkova in behind. And she's closing down the gap here, and the shoot now becomes important as Farida Khalil gets the bell. There is going to be one more shoot and a remainder of a 600-metre lap for the champion in waiting, Farida Khalil. She had a struggle in the range, with her third visit. How's it going to be with her fourth? As Slovachkova moves into second on the track. She's shot better than Ismail in the range so far. She could open up a lead and guarantee herself the silver with her running style. Farida Khalil, just one more to go, no more to go. She pumps a fist to the crowd. She's out of the range for the last time. She's got less than 600 meters to go before she's crowned the world champion here in Hungary. Slovachkova enters the range. We'll stick with them. This is for silver and bronze here. Slovachkova misses her first. She's got to keep her cool. She's done the work both in the range and on the track, Slovachkova. She's got four, and look at that, a turnaround in the range, and Malik Ismail moves back into silver medal position, but I fear for her because Slovachkova is the better runner. She has been stronger on the track, and she's already stolen the place back. This is going to be a manic finish for the silver medal here.
I'll tell you what, Malik Ismail is not letting go of Slovachkova. She's striding stride by stride for that silver medal. Slovachkova and Ismail in the battle for silver and bronze.
Blankenbauer coming out of the range gets a huge roar from the crowd, but I fear she's too far behind this pair. She's in fourth place, and Slovachkova is I think she's pacing herself here. She put a bit of burst in. I think she's given Malik Ismail a little bit of a challenge. Ismail coming around the outside on the back straight. This is a real sprint here. Up front, here is Farida Khalil. She's coming around the final bend. The world title is in sight for the 14-year-old Egyptian, and she's still putting everything into it. She made everyone think she was injured in the last 2 days, but there's not a sign of an injury now, as she crosses the line for the world's title. And out in second place, Slovachkova's come round the final bend. We knew she had something left in the tank. The Czechia athlete is running her way into the record books for a silver medal at the World Championships. A quick look behind, and she's done it, and completing the podium. Here, Malik Ismail from Egypt. It's a 1-3 for the Egyptians, but what a run and what a shoot from Lucy Slovachkova of Czechia. She has stolen the show here, along with the 14-year-old Farida Khalil, the new world champion. And the home crowd are going to go wild here as Blankenbauer has defied the odds, coming from way down the pack to take fourth place here at the World Championships on home soil. We asked you to look out for Skudniakova, and she's finished in fifth. Colin Flavin coming through to finish the race. In fact, it's Duval who overtook her teammate on that final lap. Martinescu, well, she finishes seventh. She had a big chance after a great obstacle course and a great swim. And as the rest come over the line, Karbovnik was in there for a bit. Meseros also looked like she could challenge the Swiss athlete there, one of the Yurt twins. Disappointed early on with her obstacle course. Starting and coming in, Florina Yurt, her sister, just behind her. And finishing up the pack, Elgendi comes through. Tagirova. Mayer, who started the day up in first place after the fencing ranking round. Chloe Johnson of Great Britain completing her World Championship final in 16th place. Just two more to come now. Her back and El Masri, her back a good 30-odd meters ahead. But what a race this has been, as we see the final two athletes over the line, and the crowd standing in respectful applause as they flap Herbeck over the line. Just to make the World Championship final is incredible, but to win it at 14 years old, Farida Khalil has done an absolute masterclass here. We felt that it was in waiting for her, but She had to deliver on a hot day here in Hungary, and she did just that. But what a run from Lucy Klavachkova. She started in 5th place, but it was not only the run, but her performance in the range. Struggled a tiny bit with the final shoot, but wow. And she surprised Malak Ismail, who had to settle for the bronze medal. Started the day in 2nd place and pretty much stayed there throughout, but just got dropped in the final 2 laps of the laser run. What a thrilling finish to the Women's Junior World Championship final here in Szekesfehérvár. But a dominant performance from a 14-year-old Farida Khalil. When we take a look back, a penalty of 10 points after changing lanes in the swim. Farida Khalil had a 13-second head start. She got into the range, she looked really calm. This is a 14-year-old who's still got 6 more years to compete at this level. She got out of the range nice and early and was followed by teammate Malak Ismail. But the challenge came from Czechia. First, Klavachkova passed Martinescu into 3rd. Khalil still comfortably ahead. She got out of the range on the 2nd shoot before the silver medal position from Malak had got into it. And then Klavachkova picking off her opponents one by one. Did it on the track to take Malak Ismail and move into the silver medal position. Solid shooting from the athlete from Czechia, but all of a sudden Ismail found her form in the range and she snatched the silver medal position back. Klavachkova had none of it though. She absolutely did her on the track in the following lap, and the 2 athletes sprinting down the back straight. Klavachkova burning things out, but Farida Khalil clear out front, taking the gold, and you can see how much damage that sprint down the back straight did to Malak Ismail. Klavachkova taking silver, Malak Ismail taking the bronze medal. What a stunning performance by all 3 of the medalists here. But the new world champion, 14-year-old Farida Khalil from Egypt. Two medals then for the Egyptians. Algendi getting a hug of commiseration. Well, this is how things ended up for Farida Khalil, the 2025 Junior World Champion. Silver medal going to Lucy Klavachkova, and Malak Ismail with the bronze medal. And I think we will see just the remainder of the athletes coming through. Karpovnik at one point had a chance. Meseros was up there as well. But they drifted away as the visits to the range clocked away. Johnson, El Masri and Herbach completing the pack of 18 in this final. And it's time now to go down to a leader who has got the bronze medalist with her.
Malak Ismail, what an amazing race you had. You started off in 2nd. From the start, you were in the fight for silver medal. What was going on in your head in that final lap where you were sprinting with Klavachkova?
I tried to push so much in the running. I didn't have the best shooting, so I tried to push the running, especially in the last 200 meters. But my legs were dead, so I couldn't finish with Lucy.
What an amazing finish you had there. And soon enough you'll be at the World Cup final in Alexandria. How do you plan to recover and get ready and start again fresh for the start of the World Cup final?
A couple of recovery days, easy running, easy swimming. I hope this will let my body recover for the World Cup final in just less than a week.
Amazing stuff there. And just one last thing, if you have any message for your friends and even your fans watching back home, what would it be?
Could it be in Arabic?
It can be in Arabic indeed.
شكرا لكل اللي شجعوني واتمنى اكون خليتكم فخوره بيا وان شاء الله استدوني في اسكندريه اعمل احسن واحسن.
Excellent stuff there. Thank you so much, Malak Ismail, and congratulations again for winning your bronze medal here in the Junior World Champs.
Shukram, Malak Ismail. A nice little shout out to her friends, family, fans and support team, of course, back home in Egypt. Fabulous performance from her. Very philosophical. She said her legs were done, and I think we saw that. She was taken by Hlavachkova, who nicked the silver medal with a brilliant run and an even better shoot. Alida, I think you've got Lucy with you.
Right, Lucy, you have got the silver medal. You started up in 5th position into the laser run. What motivated you, and what does the silver medal mean in the Junior World Champs?
So it's one of my first medals in pentathlon, like in all categories and all competitions. So I'm so grateful. I think today the race just worked out for me in almost in every discipline. And I started into the last discipline, or the combined discipline, I always start like with the same mindset, and I try to just calm myself, and I just do the best what I can, and just we'll see how it works out. And I did that as well today, but in the last lap I had to focus on Ismail, which did amazing race, and so I just was trying to catch her up, and it worked out.
Excellent stuff there. You're only 19 years old. You competed in the Paris Olympics last year. What are your future aspirations and your goal for the next up and coming season?
I went into this season with like weird mindset. I didn't really know what I can expect from myself, because the season after Olympic Games is always a bit different. But this is one of the the major competitions that I started this season, and I feel great. So hopefully I can feel this as the same as I feel now in future competitions.
Excellent stuff there. And just one last thing, you also have family, friends watching back home. You have a chance now to send them a message.
Tak děkuji všem, co se na mě přišli podívat. I jsem, protože mám tady tátu, mám tady pejska, super trenéry, i kluci, kteří závodili včera, tak tady zůstali, aby se na mě podívali, takže těm hrozně moc děkuji. A ti, co koukají doma, tak zdravím i pasku a i rodinu doma.
Thank you very much, and congratulations once again.
Well, I think you can see how much she's exerted herself there, Lucy Hlavachkova, with the silver medal for Czechia, and very expansive. Real respect for Ismail Malik there, saying that she did a great race, and well, you have to say, in the range, she was absolutely fantastic. The athlete from Czechia gets a well-earned rest now. So all that remains is to have a word with the new world champion. Alida has Farida Khalil in front of her right now.
Farida, your favorite color is gold. Congratulations. What is your next goal for the next season? You have so many competitions lined up, so many gold medals in the pocket, but what is up next for you?
بتقول لك انت اللون المفضل ليكي هو اللون الذهب، انت ايه الخطوه اللي جايه بالنسبه لك بصلها؟
ان شاء الله الخطوه اللي جايه ان هنا لسه فاينل وورلد كاب برضه جولد ميدال وورلد تشامبيونشيب سينيورز جولد ميدال ان شاء الله.
She says that she aiming for her next week to have a gold medal in Egypt in the final World Cup and the seniors World Championship gold medal ان شاء الله.
Excellent stuff there. And tell us a bit about the race. What was your mindset? What were you thinking from the start of the fencing all the way to the laser run?
قول لنا ايه كان تفكيرك من ساعه ما ابتديتي الفنسنج لغايه الليزر ران؟
كان تفكيري ان انا ما افكرش في حاجه لسه ما عملتهاش، يعني الفنسنج في وقته والسباحه في وقتها، وان انا اسمع كلام مدرب الفنسنج اللي هو اخويا، وبشكره جدا ان هو واقف جنبي، وبحب اشكر كل عيلتي ان هم سافروا وجم معايا وتعبوا معايا، وتفكيري ان انا ما اخدش خطوه لسه ما خدتهاش ولسه هفكر فيها.
She says that his man said that she didn't take any thinking, overthinking, every step by step. So she started the fence. She have to think about the fencing only. And when she goes to the swimming, she think about the swimming and her records. After that, the laser run, shot by shot, run by run. That's it.
Excellent stuff. Being present is key. And one last chance, you have a chance to send a message back home to all your family and friends watching.
بيقول لك قولي كلمة بالعربي للناس اللي بيحبوكي عن طريق UIPM.
بشكركم كلكم اخواتي وماما وبابا ويونس وعمار ان هم جم وقفوا معايا هنا وساندوني واللي هم وقفوا معايا في كل لعبه ما سابونيش لحظه وبحب اشكر مدربيني كلهم مدرب السباحه ومدرب الجري ومدرب السباحه بحبهم اشكرهم كلهم ان هم وقفوا جنبي وخلوني اوصل اللي انا فيه.
She says she thank all of the team, especially her brother. He is one he's support her inside the fencing and during the competition, and all the family come over here all over the way overseas to support her, and for all her coaches and for the federation and for the ministry of AIDS.
Thank you very much, Farida Khalil. You should be really proud of yourself on the junior world champion here. Great stuff.
Thank you.
Thank you.
She should indeed be very proud of herself. 14 years old and the under-21 junior world champion Farida Khalil. Already looking forward to competing at the World Cup final in Alexandria. Just final of that's next weekend. So she'll be heading home pretty sharpish. Of course, she's got the medal to pick up here. And then looking ahead also to Kaunas and the Senior World Championships, targeting gold there too. Well, it was a thrilling laser run, an absolutely incredible performance. Farida Khalil started the race up front, having built her progress over the fence, the obstacles and the swim. Had a 13-second lead over her teammate, Malak Ismail, and got into the range. Took a calm approach to the first shoot, coming through and leading the line. Malak Ismail was out of the range pretty quick first time round. It was third place Martinescu who struggled a little bit, and she got overtaken by Lucy Hrvatskova. The start of her contest for a place on the podium, the athlete from Czechia moving up to third position immediately. Khalil came into the range for the second time, still way out front, and calmly took to the second shoot as well, coming through and opening up the gap that she built. Hrvatskova then went out on track and said to Malak Ismail, I should say, I'm going to take you on the track. I'm going to put you under pressure in the run. Give you something to think about as we go into the range for the third time. Hrvatskova was absolutely stunning in the range, but Malak Ismail managed somehow, after a struggle with the second shoot, to come out of the range after the third shoot in the silver medal position. An overtake on the track, a re-overtake in the range as the battle for the silver and bronze continued behind Farida Khalil. Hrvatskova had none of it and said, well, I'm going to take you again on the track, and she looked like she had the legs. They sprinted down the back straight, and this was a test of their endurance. And it, in the end, took a little bit too much out of the legs of Malak Ismail. Farida Khalil stormed to the World Championship title here in Hungary in 2025. And Hrvatskova did the tactical battle in the range and on the track. She was spent as she hit the deck after crossing the line for silver. Malak Ismail settling for the bronze medal. It was some race here in Hungary. Huge support for the 14-year-old. Father, coaches and brother here to support her to her first world title at the junior level. Gold and bronze for Egypt, sandwiching Czechia's Klavacheva in the silver medal position. Absolutely thrilling, and you know, a champion in waiting, and Alida has raced back up to the commentary position. Well done, great interviews, great questions for those athletes. It was amazing to see the 14-year-old taking the world title, something that I think a lot of people predicted was coming this year.
Yeah, no, definitely. And just to hear her future goals and aspirations for the senior phase, winning World Cup final and senior world champs. I mean, it's absolutely amazing just to think at 14 years of age, achieving and thinking and just achieving those goals.
Yeah, brilliant performance from Klavacheva as well. As we look down the rest of the finalists here, making the top 18 is some feat. Flavin in 7th, Mesros 8th, Derval 9th. Kabovnik had a chance early doors, but finished 10th. And then the twins, Katharina and Florina Yurt from Switzerland, finishing 11th and 12th. Elgendi, the third of the Egyptians, did enough in 13th place for the Egyptians to take the team gold. Vivian Mayer, well, she'll probably be a little disappointed, having started the day after the fencing ranking round in first place, finishing 14th. Tagarova, Johnson, El Masri and Herbach completing the list of finalists. And congratulations to all of them who've put in a tremendous performance here in Hungary on a very, very hot day.
A hot day with a slight breeze blessing the athletes. But we're also looking out for that team medal that athletes would have picked up. So it would have been Switzerland, Egypt and Hungary in that contention.
Yeah, team medals, just the 3 countries contesting them. And as the leader said, it's an accumulation of points from the 3 athletes.
So only 4 athletes per nation could have qualified for semi-finals and finals. Unfortunate, if there were 4 athletes, only 3 of the athletes could pick up a medal per nation.
Yeah, Elgendi just dropping away from her 2 leading athletes, Frida Khalil and Malak Ismail. And the crowd here just waiting, as we are, for the medal ceremony, which is coming up very shortly here in Czechoslovakia. Well, I see some of the athletes who won't be appearing on the podium just having a little bit of a warm down around the track, and some of the men will be preparing, because of course coming up in this afternoon's session, local time I should say, afternoon session, is the men's final. So it's not all done just yet here in Hungary. We've got plenty more action to come, and the men have got a lot to look up to there. They've got a lot to... the bar's been set very high by the 18 athletes that competed in the women's event. There was a huge change around as well through the first 3 disciplines. The pack moved so much.
Yeah, I mean, I think just right from the fencing we could see what an impact the obstacles had, and that is really what is a make or break in the obstacles. So whether it be you're trying to get through the obstacles safely without an elimination, not really taking so many risks as you want to get a faster time. And even in the swimming, I mean, swimming compared to obstacles, the ratio is a bit slightly smaller, but as we know, it always just comes down to that laser run with that element of shooting where, I mean, you can go in, you know you have a good shooting, but maybe the nerves rattle you for a bit with that medal contention. And I mean, it's all about competition experience. And we know, and we've seen it, Frida Khalil, Klavacheva and Malak Ismail applying all those years of competition experiences here to the junior phase.
Yeah, and it was interesting as well to look at Martinescu, started in 3rd position for the laser run. She did put in another good swim, and she is great in the pool. But she just couldn't deliver enough, on, particularly in the run. Her shoot was okay, but she got overtaken on the track. She needed to have a little bit more, if you like, in the pool to give herself a chance.
Yeah, and I think given that she knows she's a good swimmer, she would always want to beat her personal best time. And it's really hard it's hard to hold back sometimes if you're so motivated in a discipline. And that will definitely come with competition experience. And yeah, I mean, we see a lot of these juniors who will be competing at the World Cup final, maybe just using this competition even as a warm-up for them for the start of the World Cup final.
Yeah, incredible. And talking about competition experience, Lucy Klavachkova, with the experience of competing at the Olympic Games in Paris 2024, she must have brought that here. That sprint down the back straight with Ismail, it was purely tactical. I'm going to blow her legs up with a couple of 100 metres to go so that I've got a nice, easy run in. And she did look like the better runner.
Yeah, I mean, it was towards the start of that final lap that she was still neck and neck with Malik Ismail. And then just after that curve, she sort of let loose that last ball of energy that she was keeping. And like you said, really tactical of her. And maybe Ismail was just fighting every step of the way to keep up. But again, what a performance from Ismail.
Yeah.
Just trying to keep up for that silver medal contention.
Yeah,
but
a lot of grit shown down the back straight by Ismail. But Klavachkova earned that silver medal. She put in every ounce of effort. And as she came across the line, just crashed to the floor, completely spent.
Yeah, and we usually like to talk about this topic. Is the silver medalist usually the less happier medal winner on the podium? Because, I mean, you got onto the podium but didn't quite get the gold, but the bronze medalist is just happy to get the bronze medal. But I think Lucy will be a happier silver medalist in this.
She will be very happy. Farida Khalil, though, was a world champion in waiting. We've not had to wait too long because she's only 14 years old, but a lot of people predicted the performance that was going to come from her. She had a little bit of a wobble in the pool with the 10 points, but it didn't really disrupt her. I mean, imagine how far ahead she would have been if she'd had a 23-second lead. But we're going to get the medal presentation coming up very soon. The podium ready, and I think they've converted the fencing salle. I don't know whether I can call it a salle, the fencing tent, into the podium award ceremony arena, and looks like we're almost ready. And well, it gives the audience a bit of a chance to see how difficult it is to say the name of the location we're in, about 100 kilometers away from Budapest. Well, here we go, the award ceremony for the Pentathlon Junior World Championships women's competition.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the award ceremony of the UIPM 2025 Pentathlon Junior World Championships. You can follow us on UIPM YouTube channel as well. Please welcome our medalists and presenters. In third place and winner of the bronze medal, representing Egypt, Malak Ismail.
Malak Ismail of Egypt, World Championship bronze medalist. She put down a hell of a sprint on the back straight under huge amounts of pressure. And as she said in her post-race interview, it just blew up her legs. But she held on to take a place on the podium. A very proud Egyptian with the bronze medal.
In second place and winner of the silver medal, representing Czechia, Lucy Klavachkova.
Stunning run, stunning shoot, absolutely brilliant laser run to finish the job off, overtaking Malak Ismail on the final lap, having overtaken her a lap earlier. losing out in the range with the last shoot. She had the legs to finish the job off. She can now claim that she is the World Championship silver medalist, Lucy Levachkova from Czechia. You said she'd be the happiest on the podium.
Yeah, I mean, congratulations to Levachkova. She mentioned it's her first medal of this season, so she'll really be pleased with this silver medal here.
Junior World Champion and gold medalist, representing Egypt, Farida Khalil.
Just 14 years old. Farida Khalil of Egypt is already a junior world champion. It's an astonishing record that she started. She's 14 years old. It's incredible to think she's taken 2 gold medals and a silver on the senior circuit this year. It's a packed out schedule, but it's still in the early part of the year, and she's now taken a world title. Farida Khalil, the new world champion from Egypt.
Please stand if you can for the national anthem of Egypt. És most, hölgyeim és uraim, kérem álljunk fel és hallgassuk meg Egyiptom himnuszát.
Rousing rendition from the support staff, singing the Egyptian national anthem, celebrating the 14-year-old Farida Khalil collecting the world title here in Hungary in 2025. Posing for the photos, the new world champion with the silver medalist Lucy Levachkova from Czechia and Ismail Malik. 2 medals from 3 for Egypt. Pentathlon Junior World Championships in the women's competition.
Thank you once again for the athletes and for the presenters. And now we continue with the team event of our ceremony.
Well, as the athletes make their way away from the podium, job done in the individual competition. Shortly we'll turn to the presentation of the team medals here. Shekesverova, award ceremony up next.
Yeah, it's sort of coming into an individual sport but creating that team element, and it's just also another rewarding achievement you can get from making it into the finals for the Junior World Championships.
Of course, there is a benefit for countries to develop a squad of athletes because it's more difficult to get to the top unless you have people to compete against locally.
Exactly, yeah.
In the end, just 3 countries. By the time we've reached the final, we're in contention for the medals. So we knew who was going to complete the podium, we just didn't know what order.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our medalists and presenters of the team event.
Looks like we're ready for those team medals and about to reveal the order. Oh, perhaps they've given it away with the flags. So the award ceremony for the women's team World Championship final.
In third place and winner of the bronze medal, a harmadik helyezettek és a bronzérem győztesei Magyarországot képviselnek.
Oh, cue the biggest cheer of the day because the host nation, Hungary, have taken the bronze medal in the women's team final. Blanka Bauer, Emma Messeros and Emma Herbach completing the job for the Hungarians. Bronze for them. Tight for silver and bronze medal. 1,057 modern pentathlon points for Hungary. Not quite enough, but only just for the silver medal.
In second place and winners of the silver medal, representing Switzerland, Katharina Jurt, Vivian Meyer and Florina Jurt.
Well, by 14 points, the Swiss have taken silver. The twins Katharina and Florina Jurt, along with Vivian Meyer, performed perhaps above their individual rankings here to take a silver medal at the World Championships in the team competition. Bittersweet moment for Katharina Jurt, the junior European champion earlier on this month. Fancied her chances of a medal here individually, but some tears after penalty in the obstacle course race. But hopefully she'll find her smile with Team Silver.
And now our 2025 Junior World Champions and gold medalists in team event, representing Egypt, Farida Halil, Gamal Gindi and Mara Ismail.
Well, with the individual gold and bronze medal, it's no surprise that Egypt have taken the team gold medal as well, a stonking 170 points ahead of the silver medalists. Farida Khalil doubling up on her gold medals, along with Malak Ismail, who gets gold in the team to add to her individual bronze, and Ghana El Gindi collecting a medal herself for her efforts here in Hungary. Gold then for the Egyptians, Switzerland with silver, Hungary with the bronze medal in the women's team competition.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please stand if you can for the national anthem of Egypt. És most hallgassuk meg Egyiptom himnuszát.
there we have it. The award ceremony is done for the individuals and the teams there. Just a reminder, Egypt taking the gold in the women's team competition. Switzerland performing superbly well with the Yurt twins and Meyer taking the silver. And the host country delighted with bronze in the team event. Obligatory photos taken. Right to lapping up a moment of glory here at the World Championships. This signs the end of the season for some of these athletes, but others will be moving on to the World Cup final in Alexandria next week. But that's the women done and dusted here at the Junior World Championships. Just one more session to come here on Super Sunday, Coronation Sunday. The men are up next, but for now, thanks for joining us.